Hello and welcome to the third installment on my series about American Eau-de-Vies, which will almost certainly be the least popular series I've ever done on this channel. Thank you for watching, you 30 people, you. Alright, so we've done already what would be the sort of standard line of Eau-de-Vies, to the extent that there is such a thing. We have done plum and pear and apple and what else did we do? Cherry. We've done cherry. So this last one is going to be all about the weirdos, all about the special stuff that you aren't really going to see elsewhere. Because when's the last time you've had an eau-de-vie of watermelon or of mango, for that matter? So that's what this is going to be about. We're going to start with a head-to-head of some apricot brandies, but then the rest of these are just kind of one-offs. I will say one of these, the Rhine pineapple here, is not technically an eau-de-vie, because when I poured it just this second ago, I realized it had actually been aged in wood for some amount of time. I'll look at the bottle. Actually tells me 16 months. So it's not technically an eau-de-vie, but you know what? No one's watching this anyway, so who cares? Let's go through, starting with my apricot brandies. First off, Peach Street. Peach Street. We've had a couple of things from them in this series and some other stuff from them before. From Colorado. Here we go. Apricot brandy. Oh, that's a nice nose, though. I mean, it smells, okay, apricot-y, but it's also just beautifully floral. There is a kind of Viognier character to this. Like if you've ever had like a really good Viognier, like a Quandreux or something from the Northern Rhone. I mean, that's what this really smells like, more so than just straight up like dried apricot stuff. This smells like a really high-end Northern Rhone white wine. Maybe a Roussanne as much as a Viognier. Flowers, a little bit of quince in there. There's a certain white pepper quality. There's some light herbaceousness crawling around the background. This is 40%, so the signature does feel a little bit smudged, but I mean, that's really a beautiful nose. Let's see what happens on the palate. And here we start to run into the same problem we've been having for this entire series, and for like half the eau-de-vies I reviewed on this channel. This just shouldn't be bottled at 40%. It feels just too thin. Like it arrives rather beautifully with this, again, this floral Viognier, Roussanne, Marsanne kind of character to it, and then it just kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. Don't tell me it's just because it hasn't been aged in oak or anything. Like, this is all about the bottling strength. At 45%, this would be holding on much, much better. Oh, that's really annoying. The arrival is so nice. There's apricot, but then there's this massive flowers. White wine. There's some rocks, some like what is that? Like rocks, but also like quartz or something, like crystal, like, you know, you went into like cavern and you started pulling those crystalline stalactites off the walls and you started trying to eat one. It tastes a little bit like that. There's some herbaceousness on this. There's some like dill and parsley. But then it just kind of gets, there's a little hit of white pepper, a little kind of ethanol-y bitterness, and it's just gone. fine, it's fine, it's fine. And it's just kind of bitter and gone. Oh, man. Bottle of higher strength, folks. I know it's a little bit more expensive. I know it's scary because you think it's going to scare off some of your customers, but man, whoever, like, you will gain tenfold the audience that you will have lost by, bottling at higher strength. Like, you just will. Like, the gains from the mixologist finding out about this stuff alone will be worth it. Score-wise, I don't know. I'm leaning towards an 82 with this, but the nose is so good, it makes me want to give it better. Yeah, the nose makes this worth an 82 plus. But it really should be better than it is. Okay, moving on. But it is a little bit in trouble because it is up against the Edelbrand Apricot Vinars. Edelbrand has been kind of tearing through this entire series so far. This is their last entry I have from them. And it is bottled at 40%, which is lower than some of the other stuff I've had, the stuff that's impressed me, a lot. But still, they just seem to do good things. So let's see what we got here. Edelbrand from Missouri. Oh, God. As much as I liked the Peachtree Apricot nose, this is better. God, there's just a richness to this, like a rich apricot syrup kind of character. Oh, that's really nice. There's still some flowers playing around in here, but it's just less wine driven. There's some kind of almost smoky elements to this, as if you like toasted up your apricots a little bit. There's a mix of honeys, like sour honeys, like a forest honey or something. Some minerality going on, just some rocks. Less herbaceous, less floral even, but the sense of just like ashy, smoky apricot syrup is so rich and so pure and so beautiful. Like I still think I like this nose better, and I really love the nose of the previous one. On the palate. It's still 40%, and I wish it was more. I really wish it was more, but this just has more presence and more authority in my mouth than the previous one does. It still has a tendency to get a little bit unpleasantly bitter on the back end, which I think just higher strength alone would cure. Feels a little bit more full. All right, so what are we getting here? This is more about the fruit than about the flowers. Just pure, again, it kind of falls from the nose. It's this beautiful, like almost smoked apricot kind of thing. Like you just hung up an apricot in a smokehouse or something, and just smoked the hell out of it with. Not particularly, fragrant or pleasant hardwoods, but maybe like some coal or something, or some charcoal briquettes. I mean, it's that kind of smokiness. But what really makes the difference here is the way it kind of fills up my mouth with, apricots and smoke and minerals, rocks. Like the previous one, it's very crystalline, but I don't know. It just holds better. It's more creamy, if that makes sense. Still not my favorite effort from the Edelbrand folks. Not by a long shot, but this one takes the nod for me. I'm going to give this an 83 plus over the Peach Street. Still, you know, same notes on it. It needs a higher strength. It just does. But really nice little Eau-de-Vie. Whoever the hell these people in Missouri are, they're doing something special. All right, moving on to St. George back in California, Alameda. This is their raspberry Eau-de-Vie. I've never in my life had a raspberry Eau-de-Vie, so I'm darn excited to try this. Okay, it just straight up smells like raspberry jam. And it's awesome. There's a little bit of white pepper mixed in with the raspberry jam, like a couple of rocks thrown in. But really, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what it smells like. Raspberry jam, a little bit of pepper, a couple of rocks. That's it. On the palate. Same problem as before. It just the strength on this makes it kind of fall off a cliff and get kind of uncomfortably. It makes it feel thin in my mouth, and the thinness makes it feel better. God, these just all, every single one of these demands a higher strength. Hold on, let me do some more justice to this. The arrival transitioning into the mid palate is so beautiful. With it's raspberry jam, but it's almost just as much about like the seeds. Like you took out all the little seeds while you were eating your raspberries, and then you all just thought, you know, for fun you would throw all the seeds back into your mouth. There's a lot of that, and again the white pepper is there. A little bit of minerality, not as much as it was present on the nose, actually. But it just, the finish just turns kind of, yeah, like thin and a little bit ethanol bittery. It's the same set of problems as say, the peach tree. Except I think I liked the nose on the Peach Street. The remember I gave it a little bit of bump because I love the nose so much. I love this sort of raspberry jam aspect on the nose of this, but it isn't actually as complex as the previous two. So I'm going to give this a straight 82. 82 points for the St. George Raspberry Eau-de-Vie. And moving on, we're going back to Peach Street. And this time it is their Peach Brandy. I've had, sorry, I have had the Peach Street aged Peach Brandy before and rather enjoyed it. Wished it would be bottled at higher strength. I'm never getting off that soapbox, folks. It's just, I'm not. These just show better when they're presented stronger. I'm sorry. You don't need to get up to you know, still strength. You don't even need to get up to 50. Like 45 is great. 43 is fine. 42 is okay. You just need a little bit stronger. You need a little hop up. I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up and review this Peach Street Peach Brandy, which amazingly smells like peaches. I'm struggling to pull out other flavor notes. It just smells like peaches. Not even like Normally with an Eau-de-Vie, I would be throwing in like the stems and skins and the core. But this really just smells like the flesh. It smells like pure, delicious, juicy peach flesh. And that's pretty much all I'm getting. And it's lovely. I'm really, really, really hoping it shows up on the palate, despite the fact that, like everything else here, it's bottled at 40%. Here we go on the palate. You know, you know what? This one works. The nose isn't all that exciting. It's nice, but it's very kind of narrow in its flavor. But the way this arrives on the palate is actually it's very convincing. Let me try this again. Mm-hmm. Again, I can't give you a long list of tasting notes for this. It's basically peach. It's pretty much all peach. There's a little bit of like again, a white pepper kind of profile happening here. Throw in a couple of dried flowers, but that's it. Like this is 95% peach in terms of flavor. But what's convincing me about this is the way it kind of fills up my mouth. Like it just feels very creamy and very kind of peachy throughout my mouth as it transitions into the finish. And the finish, it doesn't sort of just make a kind of left turn and fall off a cliff into like bitter ethanoliness. The peachiness kind of holds on in this very kind of nice, convincing way. Is it the best thing I've ever had in my life? No, absolutely not. Would it still be better at 45%? Yes, absolutely. I would love to see this at higher strength. But it's kind of working for me. It's all about the finish. If you can nail the finish, even if you're not super convincing about everything else, you can kind of make your spirit work. I'm going to give this 83 points, so a little bit of a step above some of these previous ones. Yeah, really nice effort from Peach Street. I would love to see it at higher strength, like everything here, but still, 83 points. All right, now we get into the really fun stuff. Feisty spirits. We've reviewed some Feisty stuff before. This is a watermelon brandy, a watermelon eau-de-vie. And I have absolutely no idea what to expect from this. We will find out together what this is like. Whoa. Okay, so first impression, this smells more like almost watermelon seeds than it does like watermelon. You know, like you know, you eat watermelon, then you spit out the seeds into like the side container. Imagine like smelling that. That's what this smells like. It doesn't smell that fruity. It more just smells kind of seedy. I'm getting the skins a little bit, like the rind. The watermelon fruitiness is present in this, but it's really kind of holding up the background. Yeah, wow, that is. I was expecting a little bit of like a, you know, like a watermelon candy thing aspect to this, you know, sight unseen, but that is absolutely not what this is. This is much more, yeah, rindy, seedy than anything else. All right, I'm excited to try this on the palate. Give me a second. This really is not what I was expecting it to be. The palate is even more kind of austere, and I was going to say fruitless, but it's there's a little bit of fruit here, but again, it's just way kind of providing a little bit of halo in the background. And right in the center is, again, kind of the rind, the skin, the seeds of the watermelon, more so than the fruitiness of it. And I don't know how to take that, really. It's interesting. I'm not sure I'm actually enjoying this very much. Hold on. Feels well made. The finish is okay. The finish is actually better than some of these others. But it just doesn't, it isn't presenting enough deliciousness for me to really kind of get into this or see the appeal of this. I don't know, yeah, I don't know, score wise, I would give this like an 80 question mark. Yeah, let's go with that. 80 question mark for the Feisty watermelon brandy. It's this is a fun one to like buy with friends and kind of split up to just to try this, because I am very happy I'm able to try this, but it's like I don't really feel like any desire to drink more of this, even higher strength. It feels like it would just be a little bit of a chore. Is that unfair? Maybe that's unfair. I don't know. Yeah, just I appreciate the fact that this is difficult and seedy and kind of rindy and unfriendly, but it doesn't bring enough complexity for me to really kind of fall in love with it. So I'm going to stick by that score. This is an 80 question mark for me. Maybe if I spent more time with it, I could go up or down. Maybe other palates could make more sense of this than I can, but that's where I'm ending up. All right, moving on. Our last two are going to be Rhine hulls, because I feel like we should go home to Chicago to finish this off. First off is a Rhine hull mango Eau-de-Vie, mango brandy. And once again, I've never had a mango brandy before in my life, so I am darn excited to try this. I'm just getting over a cold, if you can't tell. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting mango notes. It's a little bit subdued. There's a little bit of a kind of almost a rum agricole plastic note happen, or like, you know, plastic on fire note kind of happening there. Mostly it's mango. It's a little bit vague, honestly. It's I'm not getting a ton of action happening on the nose. It's mango. It's a little bit of plastic smoke. Touch of white pepper maybe, but that's it. All right, on the palate. No, that's not really working for me. Let me try this again. Wow, there's not. I can tell this is a fruit eau de vie, but without having nosed it, I mean, and just having tried it on the palate, I would not be getting mango eau-de-vie out of this. I mean, it's pleasant enough. It just feels kind of vague. The mouthfeel is actually all right. It's got a kind of like peppery, slightly minerally thing. It doesn't take a huge dive on the back end, but it's also just not giving me a lot of defined flavors to talk about or kind of enjoy. Yeah, even the finish does get a little bit thin and bitter, but not as bad as these previous ones. But it's also just like there's not a whole lot going on here. I don't know. I don't know where I can put this. As much as I was whining and complaining about the watermelon eau-de-vie, the Feisty I just had, I find it kind of more interesting and compelling than this. This Rhine mango, I would give it a 79 points. The way it behaves in my mouth is fine. There's just not a lot of... There's not much to define this. And I feel like to some extent, if I'm not getting a lot of the fruit that you're distilling from in your eau-de-vie, then you're kind of messing it up a little bit. Yeah, 79 points. All right, we will move on to this non-eau-de-vie. This what is this? Rhine pineapple eau-de-vie brandy, I guess. 16 months. I didn't even see this on their website, but apparently this exists. Ooh, okay. Get some water. I was really excited to try this because I've never had, again, a pineapple eau-de-vie before in my life. And I can already tell the oak is going to get in the way of a little bit of my eau-de-vie experience. I mean, initially, like most of what I'm getting is American oak. It smells like vanilla. It smells a little bit like kind of dried cherry. Knowing that it's pineapple, can I detect maybe some hints of pineapple flavory goodness in there? Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's like actually present or if it's just me like projecting that, reading the label. It just smells mostly like a, young distillate aged in oak. That's mostly what I'm getting. Which ain't the worst thing in the world. Oh, all right, let's see what's going on the palate. So initially I was going to say, it just tastes like, like a young whiskey, a young bourbon or something. Something thrown into fairly active American oak, like maybe like a young aged rum agricole or something. But then it kind of gets awkward and astringent on the very... Not even on the initial finish, but like a second or two into the finish. You got like oak, 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 And just, ugh. What is that? So I'm not really getting a lot of pineapple. I can project maybe, but I'm just not getting a whole lot of pineapple. What's standing out to me is just that little twist, and like it's like kind of gross vegetal fruity stuff smothered in vanilla that kind of comes up like halfway through the finish and is really not nice at all. Other than that, you're basically getting this with young 80 proof bourbon, with young rum Clement or something that's been aged. I mean, that's basically the character here, except it's got that kind of gross astringent twist at the end, which I don't like very much. I'm not getting pineapple, which is the big failing of this. If you told me that, if you didn't tell me this was a pineapple eau-de-vie, I would have no idea. No idea whatsoever. It's not terrible. Like I could if you poured me a glass of this, I could drink it. It's doing very little for me. I'm gonna give this let's call it a 75. 75 out of 100 for this Rhine pineapple eau-de-vie aged 16 months in oak. And that's what I got for my weirdos here. So the winners, clearly, Edelbrand. Edelbrand. I need to go visit these guys. St. Louis and the St. Louis area is a little bit of a drive for me. It's probably like 5 hours. I don't even know. But I need to go down here to talk to these people because they are doing something special. What else did well? The Peach Street Peach. This is actually really good. The Apricot is okay too. St. George Raspberry, not my favorite, but clearly okay. Everything else, I mean, as a general message, everything needs to be bottled with higher strength. Like the fact that, in the midst of this series, I also reviewed a Laird's, Jersey Lightning for $25 that laid waste to half of this series just by virtue of, being bottled at 50%. That should tell you something. Start bottling in higher strength. Like, that is the first lesson to take away from this series. Other lessons, Edelbrand good. I don't know what they're doing, but Edelbrand good. Other thoughts? I don't know. Like this, the scores are not that high, but my faith in the overall potential of American Eau-de-Vie, American Fruit Brandy, remains kind of unswayed. I'm really looking forward to where this category goes once the producers start to catch on to the fact that they don't need to bottle at 40%. That they can shoot for the mixology market, for the sipping nerds market, the mezcal market. That can happen. They can get there, and I hope they try for it. I hope I hope we start to get there. Anyways, so round up the scores: Peach Street Apricot, 82 plus, 83 plus for the Edelbrand Apricot. St. George Raspberry, as much as I love the jamminess of this, 82 points. 83 points for the Peach Street Peach Brandy. Feisty Watermelon. Really, really interesting. I'm not sure I want a bottle. 80 question mark. Rhine Mango, 79 points. Rhine Pineapple, aged in oak, 75 points. And that's it. Thank you for watching this very odd series. Hopefully it will be more relevant in the future. And cheers.